Hello, my fourth grade friends. Um, I wanted to bring you something that deals with sound to work with this week. So, one of your standards is that sound travels in waves. When you were learning about earthquakes, you learned how earthquakes travel in waves. Okay, so sound travels in waves also. So, what is sound? Sound is just vibrations that travel through the air. Okay, it could also travel through solids and liquids, and it gets heard, like we hear it when it reaches our ears. Okay, so those waves go through and the vibrations go through, and then eventually we will hear it in our ears. Um, Normally, we notice it traveling through air, but it does travel through solids, liquids, and gases. Um, so the way that sound is made through vibrations. So we've already talked that we know that energy is the ability to do work or make things happen. Okay, we've already talked about that. Well, sound is just energy that we can hear. Um, and sound is made when something vibrates or moves back and forth very quickly. Okay, yeah. So think about a guitar string. Okay, so when you take a guitar string and you pluck the string goes back and forth very quickly. It vibrates very, very quickly. When that does that, we don't notice the air around us, but it bumps the air next to the string, which then makes that air bump against the other air until that sound energy reaches your ears and we hear it. Um, so, yeah, as whatever it is that's vibrating bumps against the air, it's going to keep going through the air until it reaches your ear and you can hear it. So, if you were to take your hand and put it on your throat like this, just gently, gently, don't hurt yourself. Okay, just gently put your hand on your throat. And if you make noise, if you talk or if you go, you can feel the vibrations. Your vocal cords are in there. And as the air passes by your vocal cords, it vibrates your vocal cords, and that's what makes the sound. Okay? So when your vocal cords vibrate, it bumps against the air, and then it makes the sound come on out. Okay, so if you look here, vibrations travel through the air, and then they get into your ear canal. So if you've got something over here that's making noise, you've got something over here that's making noise. It's going to make the noise. It's going to bump into the air molecules, and it's going to keep going until it gets into your ear. Well, once it comes into your ear, it's going to come in through your ear, go through your ear canal. Here you've got your eardrum. Okay, well then it bumps into your eardrum and makes vibrations. Well, then what it does is it bumps these little tiny bones in your ear, and it sends the message up to your brain. And that's how the sound works with our ears. Is it's all just vibrations. It ends up hitting your eardrum, hits these little teeny tiny bones in there, and then it sends messages to our brain that we can then hear things. So sound can only travel through matter. It cannot travel through empty space. So if you were out in outer space, you know, all the Star Wars movies and all that kind of stuff, not very realistic, because out in outer space, there's not enough air. So there is no sound. When you see all the big explosions and it's all pew, 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 and you see all the cool stuff happening, it would be silent. Nothing like that would happen because there is not enough air in space to make the sound. Sound travels fastest through solid materials. It moves more slowly through liquids, and then it moves slowest through gases, but that's the most common way that we hear it. So I know, like when I was little, we would sit in the pool and we would have little tea parties and yell at each other in the water. So yes, sound travels through water. Um, it can travel through solids. If you have a string with two cups, you know, the old school telephones, it will travel through that string to get to the other person. And obviously it travels through air. Okay. Um, so sound is energy. We said that. And it can be so strong that it will shatter glass. So if you have a frequency that is high enough and that there's enough energy coming, the glass will absorb the energy, and yes, it will crack the glass. It'll shatter the glass. Have you ever been driving down the road and there's a car close to you and they have their music on really, really loud, right? And you can feel the music. You can almost feel the music in your chest. Um, that's all sound energy. It's not that anything else is happening other than that sound is so loud and so strong that it's traveling through the air that you can physically feel that sound. Um, so with sound, we've got pitch and we have volume that we want to talk about. So pitch is how high or low the sound is, okay? So if the object that is vibrating more slowly, it's going to make a lower pitch. If the sound or if whatever is vibrating very quickly, it's going to make a higher sound. So that's how that works. And this is how the sound waves for pitch look. So if you've got a lower pitch, the sound waves are further apart from each other because it's vibrating slower. If you have a higher pitch, the sound waves are going to be much closer together because it's vibrating much quicker. And so that's going to, if it vibrates quickly, it's going to make a very high sound. Not that my voice goes high. And if it vibrates very slowly, it makes a much, much lower sound. And that's what those sound waves are going to look like. So how do you change a sound's pitch, right? You control how quickly or how slowly that object is vibrating. So if you have a guitar string or a rubber band and you pull it really tight, it's going to vibrate much quicker. If you make it very loose, it's going to vibrate much slower. So I'm going to give you something to do with that a little bit later that hopefully everybody will have stuff at home to do. Okay, so volume is just the loudness or the softness of a sound. So if it's very, very loud, your volume is going to be much, much greater. If it's very, very soft, your volume is going to be lower. Okay, so with sound waves, it's actually instead of with pitch, the waves were closer this way. With sound waves, they're going to go up and down further. So a lower sound is going to be more like this. The louder it gets, the waves are going to go up and down further. Okay. So yeah, so volume is just the loudness or the softness of a sound. You guys know that. Okay, so we've been talking with energy transfer this whole time. And so sound energy can transfer. So if we have mechanical energy and we change it to sound energy, you can do this. You clap, you hit the table, you have a tuning fork, which I would have you guys use, but we're not at school. If you take a ruler and you are like bouncing it off the table, that's all using mechanical energy to make sound energy. You're using your mechanical energy to make sound, okay? So mechanical energy can be transferred to sound energy. You can take electrical energy and turn it into sound energy. So when we did circuits and we put together a circuit and we had that electricity travel through a buzzer and it made sound energy. So you can take electrical energy and turn it into sound energy. You could take sound energy and turn it into mechanical energy. So if you have a speaker, oftentimes the speakers will move as the sound gets really loud. And then that speaker, the sound energy can actually move things. So hopefully I'm going to show you this. So we were talking about how vibrations make sound, right? And sound can make vibrations. So I want you to see, if I just take any container, it's just a Tupperware container from my house, and I have rubber bands, and I have a thicker rubber band, one that's a little bit thick but not as thick, and then a thin one, right? So now listen. Okay, they make different sounds because they vibrate at different speeds. So their pitch is different. Now if I take this one and I make it tighter and I pull it around so that there's more rubber band in the back, and I can make this one tighter and I can make this one tighter, right? Now listen to the difference in the sound. Okay, when it's pulled tighter, the rubber band is going to vibrate faster. It's going to make a higher pitch. When it's pulled looser, it makes a much lower pitch. So you guys can get any kind of a container and some rubber bands, and you guys can play with that. We also said that electricity can be converted into sound energy, right? So electrical energy can be converted into sound energy. Once I connect these batteries here, the electrons will flow through. As they flow through the buzzer, they will make vibrations and it will make sound energy. So if I go like this, see, then it makes sound energy. It's also kind of moving the buzzer. The buzzer kind of wanted to move. So the vibrations within the buzzer then made the buzzer move, right? So we're seeing lots of different types of energy going on, okay? So electrical energy turning into sound energy. Okay, you could also take a ruler and sit it off of the edge of a table. I'll make you closer. You could take a ruler, sit it off of the edge of a table, and if you just pluck it, it will vibrate and make sound, right? But if you go further out, it makes different noise, right? And a lot of the noise you're hearing is it hitting the table. I don't have a very good ruler, but it will make noise. Just the vibrations itself will make noise if you play with a ruler like that. This is one of my favorite things. So here I have my son's speaker, okay? The speaker, the sound is gonna come here and it will make vibrations. So as it moves, this little piece moves, okay, from the sound. So if I take this, and I just have saran wrap on it so that the salt doesn't get into his speaker because I don't want to ruin his speaker. So if I take and I put salt on here, okay, there is a, there's space between the speaker and the saran wrap on top. Okay. So if the salt actually moves on the saran wrap, it's because the sound waves are coming from the speaker and moving the saran wrap and then the salt. It's not the speaker bumping against the saran wrap. So, let's see, where's play? Okay, so watch. Watch this, watch here. I'm Goofy Goober! Okay, so it totally made all of the salt come off and went everywhere else. That's just the sound waves that did that. Because watch, if I go like here, watch this piece. See it? So can you see that moving, right? So it's the sound waves from inside, but this part didn't touch the saran wrap. There's a gap in there. So it's really just the sound energy, the sound waves and the sound energy that ended up moving the salt. So sound can move things. Sound waves can move things, but moving things also make sound. I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you guys. All right. If I don't come back to you again, have a great summer, you guys.